From Rixie, this is Debuff, and I'm your host, Steve Skeels. Today, I'll be talking about Animal Crossing New Horizons, Final Fantasy VII Remake, One Step from Eden, Cooking Mama Cookstar, and Crysis Remastered. First up, Animal Crossing. It's been 7 years since the last mainline Animal Crossing game released in the West, but I'd say it was well worth the wait. Released on March 20th for the Nintendo Switch, it's currently sitting at a 91 on Metacritic, though the user score is at a 5.1. There's been some controversy over the mechanics for the second person who starts a character. They're not treated the same as the first player, essentially relegated to the back seat in terms of building up your island at the beginning. Plus, there's the limitation of one island per Switch, which has been disappointing for some. But despite that, I'd say the general consensus of those playing is that this is a fantastic game. The new features, like placing items around your town, crafting, and the island designer, or terraforming as everyone has been calling it, make this a wildly different experience than the past games. It starts off pretty barren, but you slowly build up your island and progress to a more familiar place. There have been some quality of life improvements, making some aspects of the game a bit simpler. My only complaint is that they could have improved on a lot more to make for a much smoother experience. After weeks with the game, you start to notice some of the smaller aspects, such as crafting one item at a time or only being able to buy one item of each clothing category in the Able Sisters at a single time. That can be very frustrating when you just want to keep on moving and playing the game. Nonetheless, after over 200 hours with this game, I'd say it's a must-play for fans of the Animal Crossing series or similar games like Stardew Valley. Alright, I gotta talk about Final Fantasy VII Remake. This is another game people have been waiting forever for. 23 years since the original, 15 years since a PS3 tech demo showed off what a remake could look like, and almost 5 years since the remake was announced. But at last, the promise has been fulfilled. Released on April 10th for the PS4 as a one-year timed exclusive, this game's currently at a Metacritic score of 87 and a user score of 8, so it's doing pretty well in the reviews. While it is only one part of an episodic series, the game does a great job going through the Midgar portion of the original game. A great deal of time is spent developing the characters, including those we previously didn't see too much of, like the members of Avalanche, and it's been amazing to see. The top-notch voice acting really adds to these characters too, and the world building has been great. You get to spend a lot more time in Midgar and get to see the city for what I always imagined it would be. It's been a great experience. The combat, in my opinion, is a great compromise between the turn-based battle system of the original and the real-time combat that I think many people prefer today. I always love a good turn-based system, but it's easy to see why they would want to change it up and do something a bit different than the original. The only real criticism I've noted so far is that the textures are a bit rough in some areas, and they have changed up the story in ways that I think many people will find disappointing if they hoped for it to remain untouched. Regardless, I think any RPG fan needs to pick this one up. Whether you're an old fan or someone interested in checking out Final Fantasy VII for the first time, I think there's something here for everyone. I wanted to shout out an indie game, One Step from Eden. This one released on March 26th for the PC and the Nintendo Switch. It's currently at a Metacritic score of 83 with a user score of 8.3, so I think both the critic and audience consensus is solid on this one. This game is basically Mega Man Battle Network, Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories, and Slay the Spire all rolled into one. If that sounds interesting to you, I don't think I need to say any more. But the basic rundown is that this is a real-time roguelite where you battle enemies on a 4x8 grid, half of which is your field and the other half is the enemies. Each character has a basic weapon and a loadout that gives some starting spell cards and an artifact that acts as a bonus. As you win battles, you get spell cards to build up your deck, and you find new artifacts to enhance your build. Like any good card mechanic, there are various synergies you can discover and build towards. With 9 unique characters with multiple loadouts, tons of cards and ability-enhancing artifacts to unlock, you'll be playing this one for a while. There's definitely a fairly steep learning curve, but even if you don't typically like these types of games, I'd say it's worth checking out, as your own skill can easily mitigate the randomness that tends to screw runs in most roguelites. Plus, once you know what you're doing, there's some seriously fun card combinations to look out for. I also want to make sure I shout out the developer, who's been very active in the community and continues to release patches to the game to get it right where he wants it. As far as I know, he's the sole developer, and what he has done on this game is very impressive. Plus, I met him at MagFest, and he seemed like a cool guy. If you're interested, there's a free demo he's put out on PC, though it is a bit outdated. The last thing I'll mention is that unless you need the portability of the Switch, I recommend getting it on the PC so you can get the patches as soon as they are available. Plus, PC has mods, so you can play as Mega Man EXE if you want. Cooking Mama Cookstar. Not something I'm usually into, but I've always thought the Cooking Mama series was interesting, and I was surprised to see that this game was getting headlines in the gaming media. If you hadn't heard, it was released and suddenly removed from the eShop listing on the same day. There were rumors floating around this game that it was using your console to mine cryptocurrency, which seems ridiculous considering consoles are underpowered as it is, and the QC that games go through to even be released on console is pretty overwhelming. But nonetheless, the removal got everyone wondering what was going on with this game. From what I understand, there is some discrepancy between the publisher and the IP holder. Planet Entertainment was the publisher and licensed the Cooking Mama IP from Office Creates. Office Creates has stated that this game was not authorized to be released due to the deficiencies in the overall quality of the game. Planet Entertainment has stated that they followed their contractual obligations and were fully within their right to release this game. While I haven't played it myself, from the reviews I've seen, I can understand that the quality of the game was lacking. However, without knowing the full terms of the agreement between Planet Entertainment and Office Creates, I doubt we'll know whether or not releasing the game was actually okay to do. Planet Entertainment has also stated that they are evaluating legal action against Office Creates, so it seems like this one's not going to be wrapped up anytime soon. Personally, I doubt if we'll see this game put back on the eShop. Sorry, Cooking Mama fans, you'll have to see if you can pick up a physical copy. Last one for today, I just want to mention the Crysis Remastered. Crytek has announced that the remaster is coming to PlayStation 4, Xbox One, PC, and even the Switch. Originally released in 2007, this game was an impressive feat for the time. The graphics were insane and had very demanding system requirements to match it. I think it's exciting to see Crytek going back to the series and getting the IP back out there. It's going to be even more exciting to see how this game looks on the Switch. There's been some impressive ports, such as Doom, that show the Switch can keep up with some heavy games, so I'm interested to see how this one turns out. I'm hoping they go all out with this remaster. With today's graphics, I'd love to see if they could step it up and make Crysis a graphical powerhouse once again. Whether or not they go that far, it will be cool to see the game released on current hardware, and I'm looking forward to it. Debuff is hosted by me, Steve Skeels, edited and mixed by Mason Carlton. Thanks for listening. I'll see you in the next one.